Hey everybody, happy Fall Equinox. This time of year is such a beautiful time where the dark and the light seem to be balancing each other out. And it always reminds me, at least for the last 8 years, it's reminded me of my dad as he passed 8 years ago in 2010 on the Fall Equinox and a full moon. And we have again in this year, 2018, another full moon, this fall equinox, and it has me reflecting on him and appreciating him and appreciating my life that he and my mom gave to me. And so I wanted to sing a song in honor of him and tell a little story about where it comes from. As it comes from a dream I had with him, with my father in it. It's called Turiya La Rue, and Turiya is spelled T-U-R-I-Y-A, and then La Rue, R-U-E. And about 4.5 years ago, when I just started writing music, I had a dream, and it was the first dream I'd had in it since my dad had passed, where he was lucid and clear. All the dreams before that, he was kind of in a confused state, much like when he died. And in this dream, we were sitting in some rocking chairs that we would sit in next to the house in upstate New York, where I grew up. And in the dream, we were sitting in these chairs and sort of talking and about nothing in particular. Family was all around, and all of a sudden, we looked up, and this huge owl came out of the ground. Great big huge wingspan, and that owl sort of came up with its wings spread, and when it came back down towards the ground, it turned into a tiger and came right up to us, right up to our faces with a very fierce look. And my father looked at me very seriously and he said, "Turiya La Rue." And of course I had no idea what that meant, and much like my dad in real life would, or in our waking life, would say words that no one really knew what they meant. He had a vocabulary like no other. He also spoke several languages, was fluent in French and Greek and Russian. And so I just, it seemed normal in the dream as it would in real life to hear him speak some words I didn't know the definitions of. So I woke up from this dream. Oh, and in the dream I also realized as he said that I was lucid dreaming, and I snapped my fingers and the tiger jumped over the house. And anyway, waking from this dream, I remembered those words. I remembered the sounds of those words very clearly. And for a week I was just kind of perplexed. It was one of the most striking dreams I'd ever had, and of course dreaming of him and dreaming of my dad at that time was very powerful for me, only a few years after his death. And so I was telling a friend about it at lunch one day, and so when I was working downtown in San Francisco at a law office down there, and I was on a lunch break and speaking to a friend, and he knew that I had just started writing music, and he said, "You should really write a song about it." And I thought, okay, well, I'll try. I don't know, this songwriting thing is kind of new to me. And so I went back to my cubicle in my office, and I proceeded to write this song that just came through right away. And I wrote all the words down. It seemed right and how it was flowing, but I didn't really know what the melody was. So I went home that night and got out the guitar, and I just started playing guitar, but I knew a few chords, and started playing these guitar chords, and it all just came together. So that day I wrote the song in honor of this dream and in honor of my dad, still not knowing what the words Turiya La Rue meant. About a month after that, I was playing the song for some friends in Colorado, and one of my dear friends who studies Sanskrit and yoga, I was singing the song to her, and she said, "Well, I know what Turiya is, but what's La Rue?" And I laughed and I said, "Well, La Rue, like to me, I thought, my dad was fluent in French, and so I always thought that La Rue meant the road or the street, the street or the road in French. And she said, well, Turiya means pure consciousness. It means it's the dot at the top of the Om symbol. It means, that consciousness that is within and between and waking, dreaming, and subconscious consciousness. And I thought, well, isn't that a perfect message from May Willis to tell me that, give me a message in my dream space that, this is the road of ever-expanding consciousness. So, thank you, Dad, for the message, and thank you for the song. Thank you. Blessings to May Willis' spirit, and blessings to all of us on this path of ever-expanding consciousness. Happy Fall Equinox.